my YouTube channel. My name is NAFULA. If you've not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. But if you've already subscribed to my channel, I just want to say thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for sharing my videos. And thank you for even putting a comment on my video. So today I'll be talking about a very exciting visa, which is easy to get and which everybody can get. You don't need to have any educational background. You don't have to have anybody in the United States, which you can apply and successfully come to visit America. And today I'll be talking about American Visitors Visa. So your B1 visa is gonna be your serious individuals, people who are coming here, they're coming to make money, they're here for serious business, learn stuff that's gonna help with building the economy and stuff like that. And then you've got your B2 visas who are happy, you know, people who are coming here to have fun, tourism, positive vibes, fun, and all that kind of stuff. So you guys are gonna be your B2 visa. And then the B2 visa, what you cannot come here to do is to give birth, because there's birth tourism. In the United States, there's one thing that people maybe in other countries don't know. But if you come here and you're pregnant, if you have a child in the United States, they automatically become United States citizens. Yes. So you have a child here, automatically become US citizens. So even if you get deported or you go back or whatever, this child can turn 18 and they just come here because they're United States citizens. They don't need a visa, they don't need anything like that. They're considered United States citizen. And that's why the embassy is aware of that. So there's other countries they're doing this, which is not, it's not legal, but then they do birth tourism, where they make all these people who are pregnant and maybe they're 6 months pregnant and they're not showing, they go to the embassy, they get a visitor's visa, and because with a visitor's visa you can stay 3 months, 6 months, or you can extend it to 1 year. They come and give birth here so that their kids become American citizens. And then after they give birth here, they go back home, and then when this kid comes, you know, they become adults, they can come back here as an American citizen. So, and the government is aware of that. That's why the United States is very strict about birth tourism. They're trying to cut that out. So it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It still happens. But just know and be aware that that's against the rules or regulations of the visitors or tourists or the B1, B2 visas. So what steps do you need to apply for the visitor's visa? So you're over there, you're just sitting watching me, you're like, where do I begin? First, you'll need a computer that's connected to the internet, just like you needed it when you were doing you were applying for the DV lottery. You need a computer that's connected to the internet, and also you should be able to read. Also, like even if I give you all this information, it's important you go to the website and read the requirements. Don't just rely on a video. So make sure if you don't like to read and you want to apply for a visa, even if you're utilizing an immigration lawyer or whatever, you need to learn how to do the basic stuff for yourself. So number one, you'll need to go complete the online non-immigrant visa application form, and that is the DS-160. And it's important that you complete this form accurately, and you have to be truthful, because if you mess up with your DS-160, usually they just deny you a visa before you even show up. They don't tell you, but then they'll be like, oh, you lied about something, you're out. So you'll just show up and spend your money, but the visa is already denied, you know? So it's important you complete the DS-160 correctly, so you're aware or you know that you're answering those questions correctly. So step one, complete the DS-160 form, non-immigrant visa form online. So once you complete the form, and like I said, I'm going to show you how to complete the form online. So once you complete the form, upload the picture, and you submit it, just like the DV lottery, you get a confirmation page. And this is the important step. Once you complete the DS-160, and you get that confirmation page, print that confirmation page. Remember with the DV lottery, I just told you you can save it, and then as long as you have the confirmation number, you're okay. With the visitor's visa, you will need to print out that page And why do you need to print out that page? The confirmation page, print that out and bring it to the interview. You have to bring it to the interview. It is a must. I know you completed it online. Don't show up there thinking they can access that thing. They can access it, but they want you to print that form and bring it to your interview. So just make sure you're completing all the questions on the form, you're uploading your picture, and once you're done and submitted and you receive a confirmation, make sure you have access to a computer and you have access to a printer, you have access to papers, and you can print and get a physical copy to take you to the interview with you. Okay, once that step is completed, then the next step, you're gonna need to schedule an interview to the country where you'll be applying for your visitor's visa. So you'll need to go to the embassy or the consulate website. Like if you're in Kenya, you have to go to the Kenyan embassy over there on their website. Don't go to the American, or don't go to India's website. Don't go to Tanzania's website. You go to the Kenyan embassy website. And the reason why this is because sometimes there's certain requirements that are different in certain countries. I know that the process is the same, but there's some things that can be, like different in your, as per your particular or your specific consulate. That's why it's important you go to the website for the embassy in your specific country. This is the important part about scheduling interviews. If you're 13 years or younger, 13 and younger, you might not need an interview. You do not need an interview. If you're 80 years or older, 80 or older, you don't need an interview. But then 14 years to 79 years, you need an interview. So you have to understand that if you're 14 years and younger or 80 years and older, you might not need an interview. And if you're doing like visa renewals, it's very important to understand that for right now in certain countries, if you already have a visitor's visa and your visitor's visa has not, like, it expires like within 6 months, or it's not been a year since it expired, you can apply for a visitor's visa and you will get a visa issued without an interview. And I will cover that in another video. So sometimes if you're renewing your visa, you might not need an interview. So you have to understand, like, it's important, like if you're coming to the United States, if your visa is going to expire in 6 months, even if you have the visa, you might be returned at the port of entry because you only have 6 months. So it's important that you make sure you renew that visa before you even take the risk. So if your visa is going to expire in the next 6 months, or it's already expired, you can apply to get that visa renewed. And in Kenya right now, you do not need an interview. Some people are getting the interviews. For the most part, some people are just getting to renew their visa without an interview. So run and apply to renew your visa. As long as you did not violate your visa while you're here, like you did not violate by overstaying your visa, you're okay to renew your visa. But if you know, like, you overstayed or something like that, or you overstayed the time indicated by your I-94 on your port of entry, and you stayed more than 6 months without applying for an extension, you might run into problems. So you have to consult with an immigration lawyer in that case to see what you need to do. But other than that, 14 years or younger, no interview. 80-year-old or older, no interview. Between 14 and 79, if it's your first time you're applying for a visitor's visa, you might need an interview, or you will need an interview. So just a review: number 1, establish family ties. Number 2, you'll need to complete non-immigrant a visa form, which is a DS-160. You will need a photo, and then you'll need the print the confirmation page to bring to the interview. And then number 5, schedule the interview. And then number 6, 14 years or younger, you don't need an interview. 80-year-old or older, you don't need an interview. And between 14 and 79 years old, if this is your first time applying for the visitor's visa, you will need an interview, and you have to schedule it. You also have to understand, like, you'll try to schedule an interview and then the slots are full. They're like, the next one is in 2023 or 2024. Guess what? There's a trick around that. There's a trick around it. So I'll be also covering in another video, if you're trying to schedule an interview and then it says the next available interview is 2023 or 2024, I'll show you what you need to do so that you can get the interview sooner. We'll be covering everything on this channel. If you like the content of my video, don't forget to like my video, don't forget to share my video, and lastly, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And also remember to turn, you see the bell, when it says subscribe, there's a bell. Make sure that's like turned on so that when I upload a video, you know it's uploaded. You can run and watch the video and get the latest updates. There's some things that maybe you're not aware of that you can learn, and maybe it might be able to change your life. Okay, I just typed United States Embassy up here, and then it brings you up to this. And then, as we reviewed before in my previous videos, like if you want to access anything to do with immigration in the United States, you want to go to a legit website. And how to find out what's the legit website is it ends in .gov. So anything related to immigration, applying for visas, finding information about both immigrant and non-immigrant visa, you want to go to a website that ends with .gov. And you see this one is usembassy.gov. So what we are looking for is we want to access the embassy. So if you're applying for B1 and B2 visa, what you need to put in mind is you need to apply to the embassy in a country where you live. Like if you live in Kenya, then you're gonna apply to the United States Embassy in Kenya. If you live in Ghana, if you live in Nigeria, if you live in Senegal, so you have to apply to the embassy where you live. So, and I'm gonna show you how to find that. So when you click this, I already highlighted this. It says official list of embassies. I wanted to do a video about showing how to apply in the Kenyan embassy, but then I realized I have a lot of followers who are not from Kenya, so that's why I just decided to go this way so that everybody knows where to access their embassy in their country. And I'm gonna pin a link for this website to this video, so if you wanna click on it and then you can just check your embassy. So if maybe you're from Malawi, that's M, you're gonna click M, and then you're gonna go to Malawi right here, and then it brings you right to their embassy in Malawi. So in our case, we're gonna look for an embassy in Kenya, which is in Nairobi. So we're gonna click on the K for Kenya, and then up here it's already highlighted. So it brings you to this page here, and as you can realize, it asks you enter country or area, but then when you look at the bottom right here, it already picked up an embassy, because there's only one embassy in Kenya for the United States Embassy. So US Embassy in Nairobi, and what you want to do is you want to click on that, and then it brings you to this page here. And then as you can see, our page here ends with a .gov. That's important. I insist that you go to the correct website, because if you don't use the correct website, what happens is you get scammed. So you'll be asked for money, or some people will take your personal information and they try to sell it online, or pretend to be you, steal your identity and stuff like that. So that's why it's important that you go to the correct website. So we go to usembassy.gov. So this is the United States Embassy in Kenya. And then they have, like if there's a travel advisory, like maybe there's, usually with terrorism related to an outbreak of diseases, then you'll read here. But we're not interested in that at this time. So at this time, we're interested with the B1, B2 visa. So you're gonna go to all the way down here. It says a US visa, and you're gonna click on that, and it brings you to this page here. And this page has a ton of information. And like I said before, like if you want to come to the United States, you need to read. You need to be somebody who do your own research, because it's important here. Everything is usually like you have to read to find information. That way it will save you money, it will save you headache, it will save you a lot of delays in processing your visa. So like here you can see there's immigrant visas. Like right here, immigrant visas are usually green cards. So like for your DV lottery, that's an immigrant visa. Like for, if a family petitioned for you, if a company petitioned for you, if you're like, a refugee trying to get, a green card, that'll be your immigrant visa. So it's related to the green card. And for the green card, apart from the DV lottery, with the DV lottery cases, you don't need somebody else. Like you can literally apply online and win and process your visa. But with all other green cards, for the most part, you need somebody. Like if it's like, a family green card, then you need somebody to petition for you who is in the United States. If it's a job, then you need like your job to petition for your green card. If it's a refugee, you need like, to be in this country, and then you have to have somebody else involved other than the DV lottery. Then all the other ones, you'll need to get at least a second person involved in the most part. Okay, so the importance of reading is like there's some stuff that are not like, you won't know. That's why like, before you apply for the visa, it's better you go to that website so that you can read for information. Like for example, like in Kenya, like you see here, it says effective November 8, 2021, all non-immigrant and non-US citizen air travelers to the United States will be required to be fully vaccinated. So, if you don't have information like that, then you won't know that you need to be vaccinated. Otherwise, it might delay the processing of your visa. It might lead to visa denial, or sometimes if you have your visa, you'll go to the, to the airport and you won't be allowed at the port of entry because clearly you're not vaccinated. So that's why it's important to read so you know the requirements before you apply for that visa. So for non-immigrant visas, these are visas usually to visit, and then you have to make a payment to schedule an interview. And usually for the most part, the payments are like, good for a year. So after a year, if you haven't scheduled your interview, then you'll lose that money. So that's why like it's important to read. Like here you say it sees application fee, and then it tells you that it's valid for 365 days from the date the receipt is issued. Why am I saying that? Because currently it's very hard to get an interview. So if you applied for the student visa, you're applying for a visitor's visa, and you have to attend like a wedding, you have to attend something that's is time sensitive, then you need to look at the wait times. And it's right here, it says current wait times for B1, B2. So we're doing visitors visa, so we'll focus on this one. Usually is student exchange and all that. So we'll do the visitors visa. And you say like, if you're checking the wait times, you have to click on this button right there. It brings you to this page right here, which has a lot of stuff. But then you have to go down here, and it's where it says visa appointment wait times. And then we are focused on Nairobi at this time, right? So Nairobi. So if you require an interview, you have to wait 73 days here. And then if you're a student, it's 72 days. Why is that important? Because if you're a student and maybe you have to be in school in January, and then we're almost in December, and the wait time is 72 days. So that's tricky because you might not get an appointment in time so that you arrive on campus to start the classes on time. So that's tricky. So that's why you should be checking their wait times for a particular visa that you'll be applying for, so you don't run into delays. And then you have like, you know, interview waivers, like people who don't need, you know, interviews to renew their visas and stuff like that, that they get pretty much, you know, same day, because if you're not you know, you're not attending or you're not required to go to an interview, then they can just, you know, issue or you know, renew it or deny it on the same day. So that same day, but then it's important you check the wait times, especially if you're a student. And if you're a visitor and then you're gonna, you know, you're applying for a visa to come for a conference that's in February, if you go in March, then they'll be like, okay, the conference already, you know, happened in February, so where are you going, you know, stuff like that. So you should keep that in mind. Okay, and then we'll continue. So that's about the wait time. And then also, like, if you need a visa, but then, you know, the slots are full, they allow for, you know, expedited emergency appointments. And in that case, you have to prove the emergency, like, you know, if there's a death in the family, or maybe, you know, like a family member died in the United States and you have to travel like immediately, then that's an emergency. Like if somebody needs to seek, like, you know, medical care, or sometimes who, you know, students who have, like, you know, they have a scholarship, they're coming here, and then you have to arrive, like, you know, they have to arrive, like, for example, in January. You can seek like an emergency, an appointment for your interview. And then there's other situations where you can seek appointments, like emergent appointments. So, and then, you know, if you need an expedited appointment, then you click here. You go here, and then it opens a page with all the information that you need if you're requesting for an expedited appointment. Okay, enough of the rambling. So now while we're here, the reason why I'm showing you this, and I'm going to put a link, is because you'll need to complete the DS-160. And the reason why I'm bringing you to this page, so that you're getting the correct form. You're not getting scammed. You're not going on the wrong website. So when you go all the way at the bottom, if you're in Kenya, you say, here there's a question. Do you already know what type of visa you need? And do you know you are looking for a B1 or a B2 visa? And then you can click the DS-160. That's the form we are looking for. And because you're going to the correct website, you know you'll be completing a correct form. So you won't have any delays as a result of filling a form that's not even legit. So when you click on this DS-160, it will bring it to this. And then here you have to select one, the location. Now that we'll be completing in Kenya, you will be looking for something, you know, that is in Kenya. If you're in Algeria, if you are in Benin, Brazil, you can go to your specific embassy in that country. And like I said, you have to apply in a country where you live. For some reason, like if you apply, like you live in Kenya and you want to go interview in Uganda, sometimes you run into problems. So to avoid that, make sure you apply in a country where you live. Makes it easier for you. So we'll be selecting Nairobi, Kenya, and then we'll just type all these characters right in there. And then once you type all those characters here to verify you're not a robot, there's two things. If you want to start an application, that's what we're gonna do here, like you've never applied before. But then if you were applying this form, because it's long, it lets you stop, and then you can come back to wait at a later time. And in that case, you'll have to retrieve an application, and then I'll be showing you how to do that. But then for now, we just want to start an application. So you click on the start application, and then it brings you to this page here. And then you can click agree, and then this will cover in another video. So I'll show you how to complete this form. But today I just wanted to like, you know, just give you an idea where to get the form. So if you need to access it, I'll tell you what you need to do, what's important, what numbers you need to save in case you need to retrieve this form at a later time. And remember, I told you, like, this form, you'll need to print the confirmation page and bring it to your interview. So also, I just want to emphasize the fact that I am not an immigration lawyer. I just help people apply or fill out this form at some point, just give them directions. So that's why I know some stuff. But then for the most part, you need to contact an immigration lawyer, immigration attorney to advise you on your specific case. Even if you don't need advice, because I'm not an immigration lawyer and I'm giving you this information, don't you want to double check? So you can double check with an immigration lawyer if you have any questions. But then for right now, we'll meet in the next video where I'll be showing you how to complete the DS-160 form. Thanks for watching.